You're listening to SM Media, the home of exclusive West of Scotland Football League content. Hi folks, and welcome to the latest episode of the SM Media West of Scotland Football Show. I'm Scott McPike. It's an absolute pleasure to be your host as always. We're getting to that stage now. It's games every second day. We've got a lot to talk about. It is a pleasure to welcome on to the show this week's guest. It's the manager of Dalry Thistle, Chris Wilson. Chris, welcome to the show, mate. It's a pleasure.
Hi, how you doing?
Not bad. Thank you very much for coming on.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having us.
No problem. We're obviously... probably yourself you probably get the busiest time from now until the 27th of May. 5 games to play between now and then. It's going to be extremely busy.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you take it back a couple of days, we were obviously looking at 7 and 14 days from Saturday there. That's 2 out the road, and we've got 5 literally cup finals to face in the next 10 days.
What about the kind of season as a whole? Because I think this was the league at the start of the season. I remember speaking to a lot of managers, and we were saying, obviously, this is the hardest league to predict because we had so many teams that we didn't really know how they were going to handle kind of being against each other. Like last season's conferences, a lot of teams kind of struggled in the league, but it's kind of why the conferences were in place. And this season, I thought was really hard to call. You're sitting in 13th at the moment. What's been the overall kind of thoughts of the season as a whole?
The season's very much been split into 2 halves for us. I think the first half of the season we done well. We had a really good start. We were unfortunate. We had the administrative error that cost us 3 points, which kind of knocked us a wee bit. But we were sitting probably around the end of October in a decent place, and people were talking about outside chance of promotion and all that kind of stuff. I don't think it's anything that myself or the coaching staff bought into, because we knew this was really year 2 of a 3-year plan for us. It was always about consolidation this season. In terms of the second half of the season, I think it's been hugely challenging. I think for me, I mean, when I took the job at Dalry, I was always aware of the challenges they had with the pitch. But until you're in it and you live it, you don't realise how challenging it is. I mean, I think an unbelievable stat that got shared with me the other day was that we played 4 home games in the league up until the end of February.
Right.
And that's a huge challenge for any team. You know, you're looking at your home form, maybe your good form. We played 4 games in the league and we won the 4 of them up to the end of February. You know, and that was against, early on in the season, we played Ardrossan. We beat them. We played Port Glasgow, who I think people thought Stevie would come in and be competitive this year, which they have been. East Kilbride at the start of the season, who had, you know, were tipped by a lot of people. You know, we won all those games. And then you're saying, right, can we kick on? And we had a lot of games that, unfortunately for us, were cancelled at a time when the team were playing well. Could we be in a far stronger position now had these games been on? Possibly. But listen, it is what it is. We are where we are. And as I say, we've just got to get through the next 5 games. But we've had, you know, everybody sits here and we'll look at that manager making excuses. And we're not making excuses. But, you know, we're big boys. We'll handle it. And hopefully we'll get enough to go over the line. But the second half's been a huge disappointment.
What do you think, obviously, about the standard of the league as well? Because obviously up the top, there's a lot of teams kind of scoring a lot of goals and things like that. And look at kind of Dalry, kind of one thing that kind of catches your eye immediately is 40 goals scored. So is that become a big reason you maybe haven't been performing as well, kind of lack of goals?
I think it's definitely a factor. League tables don't lie. You know, and as you say, you can look at the league table as an outsider of the club and see where the problems are. We've not scored enough goals. We went through a number of strikers this year, and for whatever reason, it's just not up for them. And they might argue and say they've not had the service. But I mean, I think if you just go back 40 hours to Saltcoats on Saturday, I think we missed a host of chances that on another day we score. And it's just, you know, it's just not working for the guys up top at the moment. Hopefully it clicks, and as I say, we'll get through the games. But yeah, I think it's definitely something that we've identified. We've not hiding away from it all season. We've tried various permutations and systems, but we need to work hard at it. We need to find a solution.
Yeah, there's going to be some 5 massive games we'll talk about later on. We'll also recap your 2 games over the weekend. Bit of news that obviously we'll start the show kind of talking about. Darvel have a new manager, and his former Shotts Junior Cup winning manager Tony McInally. He is the new man at the helm at Darvel. There's been a lot of talk, obviously, about certain managers maybe turning it down and things like that, but I don't think anybody can argue that with Tony coming in, it's a massive name in junior football coming in to take over at Darvel.
Everybody was intrigued to see what would happen when Mick left, and you hear the rumours, and not being close enough to anything that's going on at Darvel, I couldn't comment on them, but certainly Tony's a safe pair of hands, and he's been there, done it. And I think the other thing that I think is huge at this level that a lot of people don't appreciate is that how much effort and time it takes up. And Tony's had a wee bit of time out, so he'll hopefully come back, batteries charged and ready to go. And I think everybody's keen to see what happens next step at Darvel, but it's a clean slate, and I don't think they could have made a better choice. So good luck to him.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a name that I was surprised when I first heard that Tony was potentially getting it. I didn't, not because of obviously anything Tony's done. I just the names that were floating about, and then there's been a lot of kind of talk about who was going in at Darvel. There was a name that was obviously former Premiership experience who's apparently knocked it back. So it shows you there was a lot of guys interested in. I think Tony's a great appointment. I really do. I think he's a safe pair of hands. I think he's going to be well respected as well. I think he's obviously got the trophies in the cabinet from his time at Shotts, and obviously had a really good time when he was at Cumnock last time before obviously last year. And again, it's just it's a big name. It's a big name in junior football. I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be fine. I think the Premier Division next season is going to be so interesting. We'll get into talking about a lot of the teams later on, but it's going to shape up to be an interesting summer for Darvel. We'll get into talking about the Premier Division. Obviously, it was the final weekend of the season, and we'll start actually at Darvel. Darvel 2, Auchinleck 2. Auchinleck gets second place by a point. Ross Taylor with one of the goals there. Auchinleck were down to 10 men. First of all, Auchinleck finishing second, overtaking Darvel by a point. Massive achievement, I would say, for Tucker, considering the kind of way the start of the season went. To get above Darvel, I think is a massive accomplishment this year.
Definitely, listen, Auchinleck are a club that I know well. They've they're renowned for being here at the business end of the season, and it's always that catch up with their games, hasn't it? They've always got due to cup runs and whatever else. They always seem to come with that late run. But listen, as you see, the Premier Division, I think, is so competitive this year, and teams beating teams, nobody probably expected the way it was going to pan out. But yeah, I think second in any league is a huge achievement, and well done to Tucker and the guys there.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, big news coming out of Auchinleck the past kind of day or so. Couple of big players leaving. Ross Taylor obviously got a really good move actually to Stenhousemuir. Stenhousemuir he went to. Yep. There's talk of Chris Stafford leaving as well. I think two guys who I think could go quite far in the game. Really good talents. Lewis Crawford expected to leave as well. That's the thing with a team like Auchinleck, young talent coming through. They've always got an eye on them from other clubs, and I think they're three really good guys who are going to get big moves.
Definitely, but as I say, I think from an Auchinleck point of view, I know Tucker he'll already have his replacements lined up, and that's the model at Auchinleck that's worked for years, and it will continue to work for years. They identify young talent coming through, they bring them in, they bed them in, they get them regular, and in the case of these guys, they're young enough to go and have a pop upstairs, and good luck to them.
Yeah, 100%. Bees obviously ended their season with a defeat, but it was a thrilling game. A 4-3 loss away to Hurlford. Josh Fowler did score a hat-trick. That took his tally up to 29 goals for the season. Bees, obviously, they're now 9 points. They won the league by a total of 9 points. We've spoke about it a lot, the achievement. Josh Fowler in particular, 29 goals. It's been some story, Bees, this season.
It's an unbelievable story, and listen, congratulations to Straney and everybody there. I know a lot of people at Bees from my time being there with the 20s.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of really good people behind the scene at the club, and I'm delighted for every one of them. In terms of Josh, we played them in a friendly early on in the season, and I'm not saying he was the difference, but he was certainly part of the difference. He's having an unbelievable season. His overall game's improved, and his goal record speaks for itself. and a huge factor in them achieving what they've achieved. But I think it's been a group effort. He's made some really, really good signings, Straney, and added to what was a very good group that Butch had left behind there, to be fair to him. So I well done to everybody at Beath.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not meaning to start speculation, but I think Josh Fowler will be well touted this summer for a big move. I think he's more than earned it. I think there's a lot of clubs already sniffing around from what I'm hearing. Hurlford, on the other hand, obviously that win means they finish in 7th place. And again with Darren at Hurlford, it's another really solid season.
They keep you look at the teams that, drop in and out of that division, and we'll probably talk about others shortly, but, Hurlford they seem to be, mainstays in there, and we have good cup runs, and, they never seem to be under any threat of dropping out of there, and they have seasons where they do challenge the top guys, and they have results that match that. So, I don't think that surprises anybody at Hurlford, and it's a really well-run club and a great group of players.
Yeah, absolutely. Clydebank finished their season with a 1-0 win over Rob Roy. They finished in 4th place. And similar, just a really good season again for Gordon and his side. And I think they're going to get better next season. Callum Graham's coming in from Irvine Meadow. Talking another couple kind of big signings. I think Clydebank are going places, I really do.
I don't disagree with that. I think you look at the clubs built on such good foundations. They've got a great coaching team there with Moff and the guys. And they're just going from strength to strength. I watched them earlier in the season against Pollock, and I was very impressed with them. And I think, as you say, they make what Moff's doing is he's adding to it year on year. He's not making wholesale changes. He's just building it, strengthening it. And I think they'll certainly have a say in things next season.
Yeah, absolutely. Largs, a 5-1 home win over Pollock, a double from David Ramsey. Pollock were 1-0 up in this game, actually. Pollock finished their season in 5th and 48 points. Largs, 6th place on 47 points. Largs, I think, is the story. Obviously, a magnificent season again. A lot of people are touting them for relegation, so it shows you it's a magnificent achievement from Arnie to get there. Two sides that, again, will probably be quite satisfied with this season.
I think, again, from Largs' point of view, Largs is another club, for me, like Hurlford, that, they just seem to always produce and they lose players, and they seems to find players to replace them, and they're consistent, and that's a phenomenal result. There's not many teams that can say they beat Pollock, 5-1. That's a great result and a great way to finish off and get into the summer, and hopefully that lets Arnie, kick on and strengthen. Pollock, I think there's obviously Maxie coming in mid-season. It was always going to be a get through to the end of the season and then let Maxie put his own stamp in it. And I'm sure he will. But I think there's a bit of transition coming at Pollock, and it's, people need to bear with it and give Maxie a bit of time, because I'm sure he'll certainly get it right when he gets the time.
Yeah, I think there will be a lot of big changes at Pollock in the summer. I think we'll talk about one of them later on, who's obviously one of their key players has moved on. Another result, Troon 3, Irvine Meadow 4, a double from Neil Slooves. Jamie Gallagher scored a double for Troon as well. Irvine Meadow end the season in 8th, Troon in 11th, only 1 point between them, 1 point between 3 places. It shows you the competitiveness of this league. And two sides that will be quite content with how they've been.
Absolutely. I think the big thing for me is, if you look at Kev at Meadow, I think Meadow went through 2-3 managers, in terms of Geordie as well, coming in and then leaving, and Kev taking over. Kev will be delighted, and similar to Max, he just needs a bit of time to put his own stamp in things over the summer, and I'm sure he'll be fine. Yeah,
I think they will as well. I think the thing with these two is that obviously Troon are kind of well settled. Irvine Meadow, it's going to be a kind of big summer in terms of transition. Cumnock, Jordan Moore a hat-trick, a 3-0 win over Cambuslang. Cambuslang obviously relegated, Cumnock in 9th. Cumnock obviously a big game next week to look forward to.
Exactly, and I think if you look over the years, there's not many teams a week before a big game go and get a result like that. There tends to be a lot of eyes elsewhere, and players focusing on the week ahead. But listen, that's great. Delighted for Gints and H, good guys, and doing a good job down there. And I wish them all the best next week. I'm sure they'll.
Yeah. Absolutely. Arthurlie 2, Glenafton 4. Arthurlie were 2-0 up. Glenafton, a 4-2 win for them. McLean, McWatters, O'Kane, and Kerr. Shug Kerr expected to join Pollock, I hear.
Yeah, I heard that one, but listen, again, we've talked about it. Pollock's going to have lots of ins and outs, and they have the name. They've got the power to attract players. It's whether players want to go and be part of it. In terms of Arthurlie, I think it's an unbelievable achievement for Atherley to stay up. I think, you know, if you looked at the three teams coming up for the conferences, it was always going to be a big ask. You know, Cambuslang, Petershill have just fell short by Atherley. And I think I might be right in saying they get a 3-point deduction as well.
I think you might be right, yeah. I think,
Which,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
if you factor that in, it's been a very, very good season. I'm sure everybody at Atherley would have settled for fourth bottom, staying in the league, and they've done that. So hats off to them. Glenafton, another steady season. You know, just got to look to build on it.
I think Atherley as well, obviously a lot of transition there. Obviously they didn't had to change their manager start of the season, then had to change their manager twice. I think there's been there been 4 managers in this season. It's been a massive kind of turnaround there. But safety was absolutely necessary. I think Colin's going to get a fair bit in the summer. I think he'll be wanting to push on. And the 2 relegated sides, Petershill beat Colwynnon 4-2. We'll start with Petershill. Obviously, there's going to be a bit of change in the summer with a new manager. Colwynnon, on the other hand, I think you can only say it's been a very disappointing campaign for them.
Hugely disappointing. I don't think anybody at Colwynnon need me to tell them that. I think it, unfortunately, it is what it is. And, you know, whether changes were made too late or, you know, players just haven't performed, it's a tough league, and you can get on your run of results, as, you know, we found out this year at any level. If you get into that rut, it becomes hard to break it. And Colwynnon, you know, had an issue this season where they just couldn't defend and couldn't keep clean sheets. And, you know, it got better towards the end there, and they had a recharge and almost kind of pulled themselves out of it. But as we said earlier, league tables don't lie. And but listen, Colwynnon, massive club, big rebuilding job, and, you know, the fact that they've got the new management team in there early allows them time to assess what's there, and hopefully get a head start next season in the rebuild.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a huge summer for Colwynnon. First division, we have the first promoted team. Congratulations to Gartcairn. They are now going up a double from Jordan Love. Gave them a 2-0 away victory over Johnson Borough. Gartcairn, they've spent a lot of time kind of carefully looking at how to move up the leagues. It's a magnificent achievement, and I think there'll be a side going forward next season you can take seriously.
We had them in the conference last year, and you could tell what they were trying to build and where they were trying to go. And listen, that I know we talked about the Premier League being tough and the division we're in being tough, but all the divisions are tough. And, you know, you look at it, you know, we're going into the last embers of it, and it's probably still 4 or 5 teams with big says at both ends. So it's a great achievement, and well done to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Johnson Borough, on the other hand, obviously a big signing made yesterday. Dale Esplin from Pollock. I always say that Dale Esplin's one of the best players in the West as a whole, and for a first division side to be landing him shows their ambition and shows that they can how big a signing that is.
It's a massive statement of intent from both the club and the player. You know, to be fair to the club, the signing of Graham Dorns, this is just another one on the back of that, and I'm sure there'll be plenty more over the coming weeks. In terms of the player to step down a division, he's clearly been sold a vision that the club want to go on, and he wants to be part of that journey, and it's a great signing. Listen, I talked about watching Pollock against Clydebank. I also watched him against Darvel on a Friday night game a couple of months back, and he stood out. He did stand out, and I think he won a few awards, Player of the Years and stuff like that. So good luck to him.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's a massive statement from Johnson Borough. St Cadoc's can clinch promotion, I believe, if they beat Drumchapel on Wednesday night. They won 6-0 away to Thornleywood United. Double from Grant Anderson and Ants Ede. St Cadoc's, obviously, big result for them, and obviously puts them in a good position going into Wednesday night.
I think it's a great result. I think especially on the back of the decision to, you know, change managers again. You know, a lot of people questioned the timing of that, and were they going to get a reaction, you know, with John moving on? And they clearly did, and it's a fantastic result because Thornleywood have been on a decent run of late, and it gives them a real opportunity. As you say, I think to have, you know, to know you're getting into that game, it's in your own hands. I'm sure everybody at St Cadoc's have took that. So it'll be an interesting game Wednesday night, I think.
Huge game on Wednesday night. Obviously, Drumchapel have done their chances no harm. They won 1-0 away to St Roch's. Benburb's chance, however, they suffered a wee kind of 3-1 defeat against Cumbernauld United. First of all, Drumchapel, that's a big result, getting into that huge game. They're 3 points behind Benburb. If they win that, they go above them.
Yeah, and I think, again, we done a sweepstake thing at the club, and a lot of people tipped those three teams to go up, the Gartkier, St Cadoc's, Drumchapel. Benburb, I think, for the start have done great to get in about it and absolutely stay in there, and I definitely don't think they're out of it. And I think there's a couple of wee twists and turns to come there, but Drumchapel, and they've also, done well in cups. There were some good cup runs as well in terms of the Big Scottish and other cups as well. So a really good season for them. Interesting to see how it all pans out.
Absolutely. Big one for Cumbernauld United, obviously, that a 3-1 win. They will maybe need one or two more they're 4 points behind Bonnet and with 3 games left. So I would say they probably need at least 6 points in the last 3 games to stay up.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that, but I don't think many people a week ago had gave Cumbernauld much of a hope. And then, one result changes it. Bonnet, and I think if you'd looked back a couple of months ago, everybody said they were gone. And, I know Ross has done an unbelievable job, worked hard there. And, they've still got it in their own hands as well. They've still got, albeit we'll talk about the results shortly, but, they've still got a game to go as well. So, again, twists and turns, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Kilburnley have a new management team. They drew 2-2 away to Neilston. I'd say their promotion chances are I think it's actually impossible for them to go up now. But looking ahead to next season already, they've appointed former Auchinleck duo Colin Spence as manager. Wally Lyle going in as assistant manager as well. Another big statement from Kilburnley.
Definitely, and listen, Kilburnley's a massive club as well, and I think the changes and they had a few issues off the park this year that were well documented, and then the changes in the dugout in terms of Sean coming back in, and it was always going to be a wee bit of a transitional year for them. But I think, listen, the appointments they've made huge. Guys, Spenny was at Irvine Meadows, so he knows what's involved at that level. Again, it'll just be interesting watching the rebuilding.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll be a big appointment. Neilston will play Cumbernauld on Wednesday. A big game for them. Obviously, they're in the safety position, but a win would solidify their place in the First Division next season. Rutherglen are safe. They won 2-0 away to Bonnet. And Rutherglen, obviously, the other team will be taking part in the Junior Cup final. They can look forward to that now.
Definitely, pressure's off. Again, I think, probably Willie was looking at that a couple of weeks ago and going, I just want to get this out of the road so that I can focus in the cup final, and they've done that with a big result on Saturday. So listen, as I said earlier, good luck to them, and coming up next week, I'm sure it'll be a decent game, and hopefully the showpiece that our level deserves. Yeah,
absolutely. They will play Blantyre on Wednesday. Blantyre secured their safety as well. 1-0 win away to Whitlets. Again, Blantyre, another solid achievement. Whitlets, on the other hand, now drop into the relegation zone. They've 3 games left. A big game on Wednesday night. They will away to St Rochs. Whitlets, I think Whitlets will stay up. I really do, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see the remaining 3 games. Rossvale down as well. They won 1-0 away to Shotts. Shotts, obviously, I think they're on 34 points. So the 3 games left. It's going to be very interesting at the bottom of that table from now on, because you get realistically 6 teams that can all get 6 teams for 2 spots.
I think we'll know more certainly by Wednesday night and the weekend, but I think that'll go to the wire as well. And I think Whitlet's another team similar, talking about Bonneton, where I think probably a couple of months ago everybody thought they were gone, and they've put an unbelievable run together. So yeah, been an interesting watch.
Absolutely. Ashfield can clinch their promotion to the First Division on Wednesday night if they beat Tuesday night, tonight. If they beat Fourth Wanderers, a 4-0 win over Ardea. Ardea, not the result they wanted, obviously puts them in a big lot of relegation trouble.
Ashfield, first of all, again, they were in our conference last year, and they were albeit a lot of changes, management level with Maxie and co moving on. But they've kicked on. They had a great season last year, and they've just kicked on this year. And I think the fact that they seem to score goals every game they play, they're scoring goals. And we touched on it earlier, if you score goals at this level, you'll not be far away. And I think they'll have enough to get up. And again, what an achievement that would be in the first season for the new management. The flip side of that, Ardea, Sean done an unbelievable job last year, and it was always going to be really tough for him this year. And they're still in there. They're still fighting, and knowing Sean, I wouldn't write them off yet. I think
Yeah,
they've got a couple of games left, and who knows? Because I think
yeah.
there's a few teams down there that can get dragged into it. So
It's going to be very interesting. Greenock, I think, are a side that are I think they're pretty much down. I think they'll need to win all of their games and hope that Maryhill slip up. We'll move in.
Wednesday, Maryhill and
I think they
Greenock, I
do.
think they.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, Maryhill and Greenock, huge game. I think that'll be very interesting at the bottom of the table. Maybole, they did their chances no harm as well. 3-1 win away to Wishaw. They've got a big game as well. They're away to Glasgow United on Wednesday. They will be looking. I think they only need 2 wins to stay up, but Craig Mark are hot in the heels.
I think Craig Mark will look at it, and I think Maryhill went there and beat them last week, which was a huge dent to what was a really good run they were on, and a huge boost to Maryhill's survival chances. I think Renfrew, Ashfield, and Maybole look the three, but as you say, Craig Mark, don't rule them out yet.
Yeah, don't rule them out. They've got 3 games left as well. Craig Mark are away to Maryhill next Saturday. Other end of the table, Kilsyth and Muirkirk, I believe, are staying up. Kilsyth Rangers 35 points, Muirkirk 35 points. 2 really solid seasons, particularly Muirkirk. I would say that's a massive achievement for them to stay up.
Definitely, and again, obviously with Kev leaving, mid-flight, heading off to Neilston, people thought, well, they take a dip, and they haven't. They keep producing results. They keep producing results, and another team that scores goals. But yeah, great achievement for them. And Kilsyth, I think, again, another club that had a bit of transition mid-season, had a tough start, turned it around, stability, and they'll kick on next year as well. I've no doubt it's another big club.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of clubs in there will be kind of looking ahead to next season already. We'll move into the third division. We'll start on Saturday at Saltcoats. Saltcoats 0, Dalry 3. Cowan, Ellis and Robertson with the goals. How massive a result was that on Saturday?
Aye, I think it was. I think we needed it. And two 18-year-olds scoring is great. It shows the pathways working. In all fairness, I think, we should have been more comfortable than that. We missed a whole load of chances first half. You go in at half-time 1-0 and you think it's another one of those days. But I think where we are just now, it's just about getting points, and we'll take the 3-point shot as a bonus, and job done.
Yeah, absolutely. Top of the table, we have new leaders. Vale of Clyde are now 4 points clear. They won 3-1 away to Ardrossan. I think that could be a title-winning victory there.
I think so. I mean, Hughesy went in there, at the changeover, and they had a couple of wobbles to start with. I think they dropped points at Saltcoats. I think they dropped points at Bells Hill. I think Ardrossan went up there and beat them, and you were thinking, is it going to drop? And listen, credit to Hughes, he steadied it. They came and played us a couple of weeks ago, and we were 2-0 up, 25 minutes to go. And I'll be honest, I thought we looked comfortable. And then they showed this determination, resilience, whatever you want to call it. And they came back and beat us. And that's, for me, that's a sign of teams that win things, that can go and put in the performances and change. And that's a massive result on Saturday. Massive result for them. And I think by watching the highlights, they looked as if they fully deserved it.
Yeah, absolutely. And they will play Lanark on Wednesday night. Lanark won 6-1 at home to Port Glasgow. That's a massive 3 points for Lanark, obviously. And again, they'll be looking, that will do their promotion chances no harm, especially with Lark Hall, who drew 1-1, I believe. Yeah, they drew 1-1 away to Finnart.
So we've got Lark Hall and Lanark to come to us over the next week and a half. And they'll not find it easy coming to us. Listen, I don't think there's many easy games in this league. There's teams capable of beating other teams, and I think this whole promotion situation will go to the wire. But I do think that, for me, the three strongest sides we played this year were Vale of Clyde, Lark Hall, and Winton. And I have been kind of pushing that. Anybody that's asked me, I've always said those three. And, with great respect to Lanark, Irvin Vicks as well, who've been up there, and probably less Ego. No slight on them. I just think they've been the best three sides.
Absolutely, yeah. New Mains confirmed Carluke's relegation to the 4th division. New Mains obviously already relegated, 3-1 win over Carluke on Saturday. New Mains, obviously, but do they both kind of sides? They'll be kind of looking to come straight back up next season. So, what's your kind of thoughts on them going forward?
We played New Mains very first game of the season. We beat them 1-0, and they were very organised and very very hard to beat. I think we play them on Wednesday night, and I'm sure they'll be equally as tough to play on Wednesday night. I think the problem with the teams down at the bottom part of the league, and I include ourselves in this, it's just consistency.
Yeah.
These teams on their day are all very capable. We talked here about Saltcoats drawing 2 each with Vale Clyde, who are going to win the league. So, we beat Ardrossan home and away. There's teams down there that can get results and are every bit on their day as good. It's just you lack maybe that depth in the squad where a couple of big injuries or a suspension can really hurt you, whereas teams at the top end tend to have that depth that allow them to accommodate that. But listen, New Mains, no fears, they'll go down and challenge, as will Carluke, as will Saltcoats, as will Royal Albert, who are already down there. They'll all come back stronger for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just other results: Royal Albert 0, Girvan 3, Bellshill 2, East Kilbride Thistle 1, Lugar 1, Vale of Leven 1, Irvine Vicks 1, Kello 1. Probably Irvine Vicks, you would say it's a very hard for their promotion chances that been held at home to Kello on Saturday.
First of all, I just think he's done an unbelievable job there.
Yeah.
An unbelievable job. They turned us over 4-0 in December at their park, and they were on an unbelievable run, and they've just hit that wee dip, and I think that goes back to the whole depth thing that I'm talking about. I don't think Dougie's got the depth that some of the other teams are, or the luxuries that other teams have got there, and I think they came to us a few weeks back, and I know they had 2 or 3 out, and it was nothing each, and I think that was the kind of start of their dip, and then they had a run of 3 or 4 results. But listen, I don't think mathematically they're out yet.
No.
And knowing Dougie, I don't think for a minute he'll be saying he's out yet.
No, absolutely, and it's going to be very intriguing. Obviously, Irvine Vicks have got a big. I think they've got a big couple of games coming up. We'll just get into that now. Irvine Vicks, they are away to Lesmahago. They've 4 away games in the last 4 games, so it's all against them. But if there's a team that I would predict could score a lot of goals, it could be Irvine Vicks.
Yeah, definitely. So it'll be interesting again when you're getting into these midweek games, and a couple of guys are working late or injured, or it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it certainly does. We'll move into the Monday night. Obviously, East Kilbride Thistle 0, Kello 0, but Lugar 1, Dalry 0. Obviously, with the games kind of mounting up, it is kind of Saturday, Monday, Wednesday. What was your kind of overall takeaways from last night?
Huge disappointment. I think we should have taken some for the game. We didn't, and that's the reality. That's the hard reality that we are facing at the moment. We lost the game 1-0 to a penalty. I think both goalkeepers had saves to make, but I think a 0-0 would have been a fair result. But as I said earlier, it is what it is. We've just got to take it in the chin and move on, regroup, go again on Wednesday, and try and get 3 points.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll get into those games as well. Obviously, 5 games in 10 days. The season will Dalry versus New Mains tomorrow night. Saturday home to Lanark. Monday home to Lark Hall. Wednesday away to Royal Albert, and then finish the season next Saturday at home to Lesmahago. 4 home games in there. Obviously, how massive is it to have that kind of home advantage?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's. I think any team, you talked about Irvine Vicks having 4 away games. It's you always like to be in your own patch, but I think it's actually beyond that stage for us now. It's just about desire and trying to go and grind out results. Hopefully, you get the wee rub of the green that you need, and the players are up for it. They're disappointed last night. I suppose that's the positive and the negative of these quick turnarounds. You go Saturday for being in a good place, and then 48 hours later you're flat, but you've only got 48 hours to the next game, and it can all change again. So.
Yeah, obviously as well. Like when there's other kind of teams round about you as well, is it kind of hard not to focus on what's going on round about you as well with other kind of teams in there as well? Like they've obviously going to have games at the same time. Is it just a total priority to focus on what's going on with your own club?
You have to. I think it's very hard to ignore it, as you say. You're coming off the park last night and people are making gestures about the East Kilbride score, and but again, it's in our hands. If we can pick up whatever points we need in our own games, then it doesn't matter what anybody else does. And that, I think, is a position it's a positive position rather than other teams that are maybe looking over their shoulder going, how did they do? How did they do? If we do our jobs, we'll be fine. Yeah. And that's the focus.
Yeah, and obviously the club as well. Obviously joining the kind of pyramid system and things like that in the past couple of years. How much has the kind of club kind of moved on, and what's their kind of focus in the next few years? Because you said they're obviously about a 3-year plan. What's the kind of next steps of that plan?
So I think when we went in last year, we had 3 weeks to put a team in the pitch. And try and get, the plan was to get a team in the park, try and make them competitive. I think we took some, we had some sore days first half of the season last year. Second half of the season, I think we lost 2 games for Christmas. Second half of last year and done really well and really looked to kick on, and we strengthened in the summer. We lost 4 players at Christmas this year who were key to us, who were all kind of university student guys doing stuff that they just said, you know what, I can't commit to this. I'm going to do my exams, and that was a loss, and I don't think we've really replaced them. Second half's been poor. Done a lot of work behind the scenes, the club, to get an under-20s and an academy going, and that's going from strength to strength. So I think next year's just about building again and trying to be more competitive.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to wish you all the best for the rest of the season, Chris. It's been an absolute pleasure, and enjoy the last 5 games. Hopefully it works out well for you.
Thanks very much.